Hey everyone, welcome back to Mental Mosaic. I am Ericson. Today's episode touches a feeling we all face at some point, that strange, heavy moment when life just stops making sense. You know, when you start wondering, what am I even doing? And to unpack this, I have with me someone whose words always bring calm and clarity. Our guest, Mandy. Hey Mandy, welcome back.
Hey, Ericson. Always happy to be here. And wow, what a topic, because I think this one hits home for everyone, right? That feeling of being lost, like life suddenly doesn't have a direction.
Absolutely. It's one of those quiet struggles that no one really talks about, yet everyone goes through. So Mandy, let's start with the big question. Why do we feel lost when life stops making sense?
That's a great starting point. I think feeling lost is part of being human. It usually happens when something inside us changes, our goals, values, or the way we see the world, but our outer life hasn't caught up yet. We keep living the same routine, but deep down, it doesn't feel right anymore.
That makes sense. So it's not that life suddenly becomes meaningless, it's that our perspective shifts. I actually once said to a friend, sometimes we don't lose direction, we just outgrow the old map. And when that happens, we start to question everything.
That's a powerful quote, Erikson. And it's true. People often confuse feeling lost with failure. But it's not failure, it's growth. It's like when a caterpillar turns into a butterfly. There's a phase in between where everything dissolves into chaos, but that's transformation, not destruction.
Wow, I love that. Transformation, not destruction. That's deep. But you're right, Mandy. When we're in that phase, it's scary. We start thinking something's wrong with us, we compare ourselves to others who seem to have it all figured out, and it just makes the confusion worse.
Yes, comparison is one of the biggest traps. We look at people's highlight reels on social media and start doubting our own journey. But everyone goes through lost phases. It's just that most people hide it. I always remind people, you're not behind in life. You're just in a different chapter.
That's beautifully said. So let's talk about the main reasons people feel this way. What are some situations that usually trigger that lost feeling?
There are several. For example, major life changes, losing a job, ending a relationship, or even achieving a goal you've been chasing and realizing it doesn't feel how you expected. Second is burnout, when you've been pushing too hard and lose touch with what makes you happy. Third is lack of connection. We get so busy surviving that we stop listening to ourselves. And sometimes it's just life's natural pause, the space between what was and what's next.
That's so true. I think a lot of people feel lost after achieving something big, like graduation or getting their dream job, because suddenly there's this now what moment.
Exactly. We're taught to chase goals, not meaning. So once the goal is done, we feel empty. That's when it's important to stop and ask what actually matters to me now.
That reminds me of one of my favorite quotes. I tell myself, when nothing makes sense, maybe it's time to stop searching for meaning outside and start listening inside. Because sometimes the answers don't come from the world, they come from silence.
That's beautiful, Erickson. Silence really is powerful. Most people are afraid of it because silence forces us to face ourselves. But that's where clarity starts. You can't hear your intuition if life is too noisy.
True. So if someone's listening right now and they're feeling lost, confused about their path, or like nothing feels right anymore, what's the first step they should take?
The first step is to accept that it's okay to feel lost. You're not broken. You're just in transition. Then slow down. Take small steps. Journaling, long walks, spending time in nature, or even just sitting with your feelings instead of running from them. And most importantly, ask yourself gentle questions like, what feels meaningful to me right now? Or what brings me peace? You don't need all the answers immediately, you just need honesty.
That's really practical advice. It's like taking the pressure off yourself. I think the problem is we want instant clarity, but meaning takes time to rebuild.
Exactly. Life doesn't always make sense right away. Sometimes the pieces come together slowly. I often tell my clients, don't rush your realignment. The confusion is part of your rebirth.
Wow, that's a quote right there. The confusion is part of your rebirth. I love that. You know, Mandy, sometimes I think the reason we feel lost is because we're holding on to a version of ourselves that doesn't exist anymore. We're trying to live today with yesterday's mindset.
Yes, that's it. We change, but our habits, relationships, and even dreams don't always evolve with us. Letting go of that old version of yourself is painful, but it's necessary for growth.
So true. And maybe that's the hidden gift of feeling lost. It forces us to stop pretending and start being real.
Exactly. You find yourself, again, not by going back, but by moving forward with more awareness.
You know, I think we should end this episode on a thought that sums it up perfectly. Mandy, if you could say one line to anyone who feels lost right now, what would it be?
I'd say you haven't lost your way, you're just learning to walk a new path. Trust the process.
That's beautiful. I'll add mine. When nothing makes sense, it's usually because you're growing beyond what used to make sense.
Wow, I love that. It's such a comforting reminder that being lost doesn't mean you're stuck. It means you're evolving.
Exactly. And to everyone listening, if you're in that space right now, just breathe. You don't need to have all the answers today. You just need the courage to keep moving gently forward. Mandy, thank you so much for sharing your insight and warmth today.
Thank you, Ericson. And to our listeners, remember, the storm doesn't last forever, and neither does confusion. Be patient with your journey.
Perfectly said. And that's a wrap for today's episode of Mental Mosaic. If this conversation touched you, share it with someone who might need it. Until next time, stay kind to your mind and trust that every lost moment is guiding you somewhere meaningful. Wish you all the best.